And welcome back. Today we're here talking about a super lightweight, compact, and inexpensive lens from Viltrox. And the lens I'm talking about is the 56 f1.7 for Fujifilm, but they also make it for other systems. I believe for sure Sony and Nikon. But before getting to talk about this lens, let me tell you that I wasn't a big fan of Viltrox when they started launching their first autofocus lenses. The 33 f1.4 that I tried over here, you can see, I didn't like it that much. I didn't recommend it that much because I didn't see a reason as to why one would buy that. But from that moment to today, I became a huge fan of what they're doing. The 13 f1.4, the 27 f1.2, and the 75 f1.2 are all great lenses. I have reviews for all of those in my channel. I'm gonna link them down below. Those lenses are great. Very well built, weather sealed, fast autofocus and reliable autofocus, great image quality. Very, very impressive at an impressive price because they all cost between $400 and $600. So not a big cost at all. However, those lenses were big, definitely big and heavy compared to other lenses. What Viltrox is trying to do with this new f1.7 line that you see in my hands is appeal to those who are not professional. Those are the 13, the 27, and the 75 are professional lenses. They also have a pro badge, at least the 27 and the 75. But I think the 13 should stay in that pro line, although they probably thought about it afterwards. This lens is not one of those lenses. It's not going to replace your 56 f1.2 from Fuji or your 75 f1.2 from Viltrox. It is not a professional lens. It doesn't appeal to the same audience. What Viltrox is trying to do with this lens is appealing to those who are willing to try a prime lens for the first time, who are willing to explore portraits with a lens that is different from probably their kit zoom lens, and at the same time, they don't want to spend that much because they don't know whether they're gonna enjoy doing portraits or using prime lenses that much. With a target cost of around $150, this lens appeals to those people because it doesn't weigh a lot, it's super small, and it doesn't cost a lot. So it makes it easy to purchase and it makes it easy to carry around without thinking about too much. Because one other thing that enthusiasts or non-professional photographers do is just being worried about how am I gonna bring a lot of lenses with me? Am I gonna bring a lot of weight with me? And the answer is usually no. And that's why they will probably never buy a 56 f1.2, they will never buy a 75 f1.2, because those lenses are big and heavy. And although they're better than this lens, because again, this lens is not going to replace those lenses, they're not, even if they purchase them, they're never going to bring them around. With this, you just put it in your bag, it doesn't weigh anything, it doesn't take that much space, and whenever you need it, you have it for a very small investment. However, all of this conversation makes no sense at all if the image quality isn't good. And I'm happy to report that the image quality you get out of this small lens over here punches way above its weight class. This lens is super sharp, very sharp already, wide open. Colors are nice. It may be a little bit too contrasty, but it's fine for the target audience that is trying to appeal to. It's fine. It's got a good bokeh, however, showing some nervousness in the background whenever the backgrounds are busy. I tried this lens with my cats and in an informal portrait session with my wife, because I think this is the way most people are going to use these lenses is informal. You're not gonna buy a $150 portrait lens if you're gonna shoot with 3 flashes, 2 assistants, reflectors, makeup artist, and all of that. That is not your target. When you buy a lens like this, you bring it with you, you're in a hike, you're with family, friends, whatever, you take the lens out, you shoot something that others cannot shoot, and you're gonna make everyone's happy with a small investment of $150. So that's why I wanted to shoot it that way. And in that circumstances, it performed really, really, really well. However, as I mentioned, the bokeh in a woodland environment definitely shows some nervousness in the background, but that's normal. The sharpness in the center is very, very good. In the corners is really good as well, but of course it's not as sharp as it is in the center, but that's okay for a portrait lens. That is more than okay. Flares are usually well controlled, although, however, depending on the angle that you're shooting at, they may show some unwanted flare here and there, but they're easy to control. I don't know if the hood doesn't make any difference in that regard, but whatever. This lens really surprised me. As I mentioned, again, it's a cheap lens. It doesn't feel cheap in your hands. Of course, it doesn't feel premium either. It's got your metal bayonet, metal lens mount over here with your USB-C port over here that allows you to upgrade the firmware whenever it's needed. And one thing I forgot to mention, I found that the autofocus was really, really good too, even in difficult condition when it was backlit. So all in all, this lens is kind of surprising because for a very small price, you get a very capable lens optically, very capable lens from a autofocus standpoint. Yes, it's built in a plasticky way, but it doesn't feel cheap in the end. And being so compact and lightweight makes it super easy for you to just take it with you wherever you're going without worrying too much. And I believe this is where Viltrox is winning. Is they're now building a new line, which is not their professional line, which is covering that what the XC line lenses, prime lenses should have been and never was, because they only made, Fujifilm only made the 35. For whatever reason, they didn't continue to make their XC line lenses. They should have. But Viltrox saw that there was a gap, and they went right into that gap with a very good beginning. With the 56 is a very good beginning, covering those needs that, believe it or not, in a system that doesn't cost a lot like Fuji's, you didn't have a cheap portrait lens that was also fast. You could get the 50f2, but that was still an XF lens and cost more than $400. With this one, you're spending less than half. Yeah, you don't have the metal build. Yeah, you don't have the weather sealing. Yeah, you don't have the aperture ring. You don't have a lot of things, but this lens doesn't weigh anything, performs really good, and it's super easy to carry with you. So it's definitely recommended for what concerns me. If you're looking to try portraits for the first time and you don't want to spend a lot, or if you're willing to explore what shooting with prime lenses means and you don't want to spend that much, this is the lens. This is the way you should start, because it's easy to use, affordable, reliable, portable, and lightweight. You cannot ask much more for, you cannot ask anything more for $150, really. I'm very impressed. I'm really impressed. And I cannot wait to see what they come up next in this line. I think this line is going to make a huge success for them in the APS-C line, because it was a missing option that now is getting covered. So again, thumbs up. I liked it a lot. I can only recommend it. And I think that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Ciao.